Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Xfinity Rewind, we are looking back at the 28th annual Rinnai 250. 163 laps, 251 miles around the 1.54 mile Atlanta Motor Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. Very few cautions in this race. Only one caution outside of the scheduled stage breaks. Stage 1 concluded at lap number 40. Stage 1 winner was Christopher Bell. Stage 2 concluded at lap number 80. And again, your Stage 2 winner was Christopher Bell. The only caution for an incident in this race came close to the end. It was lap 157 as the 23 of John Hunter Nemechek spun out of turn number 2 due to a flat tire. That's the only caution in this race due to an incident. 11 lead changes among 5 drivers in this race. He won both stages, so I don't think it should be a surprise that Christopher Bell, far and above, led the most laps in this race. 142 of them, to be exact, of the 163 laps. That only leaves 21 laps for other drivers to lead. 9 laps apiece were led by Tyler Reddick and Noah Gragson. 2 laps were led by Cole Custer, and 1 lap went to Brandon Jones. All right, let's get into the results. I don't think this should be a big surprise here as he won both stages and led all but 21 laps in this race. Christopher Bell picks up his first win of the season, the first win for the Toyota Supra in only its second race. And what a dominating drive Christopher Bell put on in this race. It wasn't without its challenges. There were many points in the race where he was gone and nobody was going to touch him, but especially later in the race, there were some guys that I don't know if they were saving throughout the race for the end of the race or what exactly they were doing, but Cole Custer, for example, really gave Christopher Bell a run right there on that final restart, and had Bell not taken Custer's line away in 1 and 2 and run the high side instead of where he had been on the low side, I think Custer might have gotten him on the last lap, so that would have been fairly interesting. Justin Allgaier was also very fast on the short run, and just couldn't do much after a couple laps once the tires started falling off. Custer came home in second. Allgaier was third. Brandon Jones came home in fourth. Tyler Reddick there in fifth. He was the other guy that was really challenging Christopher Bell. Reddick, I think, had the best car over the long run. The problem was, as we got to the end of the race, we never really got that long run. Had the John Hunter Nemechek caution not happened, and we had continued that long run to the end of the race, Reddick was catching Bell, and he'd gotten it down to under a half a second. I think Reddick could have gotten the win here. But again, catching somebody and passing them are two different things. Reddick had caught Bell fairly easily over that long run. The question was, could he have gotten around him, though, because they were both running the same line. They were both on the bottom. So Reddick would have had to gotten kind of creative to get around Bell unless Bell had screwed up somewhere. But as talented as Christopher Bell is, I don't really see him screwing up in a situation like that. Rest of your top 10, a great run for Jeffrey Earnhardt in 6th in his second race in that 18 car for JGR. Ryan Preece, his debut in the 8 car for Junior Motorsports, he came home with a solid 7th place finish. Justin Haley there in 8th, Noah Gragson in 9th, and Austin Cindric rounded out the top 10. 11th through 20th, another good run for Ryan Sieg, just outside the top 10 in 11th. Your Daytona winner, Michael Annett, came home in 12th. A very strong run, both for Brandon Brown in the family-owned team there in 13th, Brandon Built Motorsports, and a good run for Ross Chastain in his unsponsored JD Motorsports number 4 car there in 14th. Chase Briscoe came home in the 15th position, and John Hunter Nemechek, even after his flat tire, came home there in the 20th position, 1 lap down. 21st through 30th, Ray Black Jr. there in the 23rd position. Chad Fincham started on the outside pole due to owner points, as that MBM Motorsports number 42 car has the owner points of the Chip Ganassi Racing 42 car from last season. So because of the rain out in qualifying, he started on the outside pole. Dropped to the back, though, because I think that team smartly realized that they just didn't quite have the speed to hang up there with those front guys, and they didn't want to cause an issue, which kudos to them for realizing that and not potentially causing a problem. But still a solid run for Chad Fincham in the 26th position. And then down here, final page, 31st through 37th. Most of these cars having an electrical issue or mechanical issue of one sort or another at some point in the race. All right, and that's your results from the Rinnai 250. We're going to head to the media center, and we will see what Christopher and the other top finishers had to say after this one. If we do get a Christopher Bell interview lined up here in the next few days, it will go up as its own video here on the channel, so keep an eye out for that.
Oh man, that's really, really big. And it all just boils down to the fact that you don't get to be a first-time winner very often. So there's a very good possibility Kyle's going to win one of the next three, and I beat him to victory lane. So I'm all smiles right now. I mean, all day long I knew that my weakness was late in the runs. I felt really, really strong from green flag to basically the last 10 laps. I just start struggling really bad. So when the two cars started gaining on me a little bit, I felt like I could make time if I moved up to the top late in the run. So I was just about to move up to the top and see if I couldn't pick up a little bit of speed to hold off the two car. But yeah, late in the runs, the competition was really good. I mean, the 00 and the 2, they both were really strong late in the runs. So that had me a little bit nervous there. And then obviously on a late race restart, you're kind of a sitting duck, right? And so I tried to just accelerate as early as I could and make sure that nobody got a run on me. It probably didn't matter to me either way. I knew that I was going to have my hands full if the yellow didn't come out, and I was going to have my hands full on the restart if the yellow did come out. So it probably didn't matter to me either way.
All right, and we'll take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here today. I know we're 2 races into the season, but still starting to shape up here as to what we'll see in the playoffs. Christopher Bell and Michael Annett, now your 2 drivers locked into the playoffs with wins. Brandon Jones leads the drivers that are in on points at the moment. Ryan Sieg still hanging in there in the 10th position in on points right now. Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe still on the outside looking in. And interesting to note, we talked about the great run from Brandon Brown. That has propelled him up to the 15th position. He's kind of one of these unheralded rookies. He is running the full season. Nobody's really talking about him, though. But he is running the full season, and he is right there in points with every other rookie right now. Everybody right there, you see Justin Haley in 11th, all the way down to Brandon Brown in 15th. Those are all your rookies for this season, so in the Xfinity Series. So he's right there with these guys. If he can keep up these solid finishes, we might be talking about Brandon Brown in the playoffs this season, which could be very interesting. I think that's something that not really anybody expected at the start of the season, but I think it would be really cool to see. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Brandon Brown, possibly a playoff spoiler here this season. He's right there with all of the other rookies that I think we all expected to have good runs. I think he's the one that is kind of surprising a little bit, and it's cool to see. But that's a look at your playoff grid following the Rinnai 250, and I believe that'll do it for us today on this Xfinity Series Rewind show. Truck Series Rewind coming up shortly after this, and then, of course, a Cup Series Rewind coming up later this evening to recap the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500, which might be going on as this goes up. I'm not sure how quickly this will get up, but it might be going on by now. I'm not sure. If not, it'll be very soon. That comes up at 2 p.m. today. So, yeah, got lots of stuff coming up here on the channel, so stick around for all of that. If you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.